Welcome to SIUK India webinar. Thank you for joining us. We are now live with the University of Dundee. Today we have Harry and Ayush with us, who will let us know about this special webinar session. We will answer all the questions after the presentation during the Q&A session. So let's start the webinar. Over to you, Harry and Ayush. Welcome to SIUK India webinar. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, everybody, and good afternoon or good morning, wherever you happen to be. My name is Harry Handel, and I'm a professor of physiology at the University of Dundee. I'm also the academic regional lead for South Asia, and I'm going to be presenting this with my colleague Ayush, who's the international engagement officer. And I thought, to start this webinar, it might be useful to give you a little bit of my sort of association with the University of Dundee and why I think really you should be considering us as a destination for study, because I think, as I say in the title, we certainly want you to come and join us on a voyage of personal discovery. So I thought it would be useful to perhaps tell you a little bit about my own journey. So Ayush, if you can sort of forward the slide, please. So I was born in India, in Punjab, just outside Amritsar. But I emigrated as a young child with my family. And forward, please, Ayush. I moved to London, and I did most of my sort of pre-university education in London. And forward, please. I then went on to do a undergraduate and a postgraduate degree. Forward, please, Ayush. And I did my undergraduate degree in biochemistry. And I subsequently did my PhD within the same university. And one of the reasons I decided to stay in Dundee was during my 4 years as an undergraduate, I got to know the city and really appreciate the value that the university was adding to my education, which is why I decided to stay on to do a PhD. Now, after having done my PhD, forward, please, I decided to broaden my horizons. And I went on to do a postdoctoral sort of a fellowship program in Toronto at the Hospital for Sick Children, which is one of the world's famous pediatric hospitals. And I did really well in Toronto, so well that when I started to subsequently apply for jobs back in the UK, I got numerous offers from universities like Imperial, Manchester, Liverpool, Oxford. But guess where I ended up? Forward, please. I ended back in the University of Dundee, and the reason I ended up back in the University of Dundee was because I had already experienced an extremely positive environment in which I had sort of flourished. And I thought to myself, Dundee has got a lot more to offer because it's within Scotland. Next slide. Scotland actually represents one of the most beautiful countries in the world. So this is the kind of scenery that you can actually go out and see within 10 to 15 minutes of out of the city. You're into the countryside, and you can go and see this beautiful landscape scenery. And it's one of the most sort of vibrant places to be when you see this kind of imagery and landscape. Something that you would not see in a sort of big city like London, Birmingham, Oxford or Manchester. So believe me, this was one of the major attractions that drew me back to the University of Dundee, because I knew from my experience there as an undergraduate and as a postgraduate why I wanted to be there, why I wanted to raise a family there, and importantly, what more the University of Dundee still had to offer me in terms of my personal career development. Next slide. So this represents a picture of the city of Dundee taken from the other side of the river. And I actually do live on the other side of the river. So this is the image that I actually see every morning when I open my curtains. So I see the city of Dundee in this way. But the city of Dundee is beginning to be recognized much more widely as a city that should be visited as a tourist destination as well. As I say here, you can see some of these sort of quotes. Scotland's best place to live. Dundee is in the top 10 most affordable cities in the UK. And Dundee is the most fun place to be if you're a student. So please think about these kind of things. Next slide. I just wonder how many of you actually know what Dundee has actually given to the world. So these are some of the things. So we've had legacy, where aspirin was partly discovered here in the city of Dundee. We've given LCD technology, radar technology. One of the best things that perhaps, as for those of you who may well be gamers, the sort of game Grand Theft Auto was absolutely developed in the city of Dundee. In addition, we are famous, world famous for marmalade, the postage stamps, and of course, ATM sort of technology. NCR, the company that was responsible for doing this, was actually founded in Dundee. Next slide, please. Well, here are some sort of achievements at a glance. And one of the things that's perhaps worth saying is that we are #1 in Scotland for all public engagement. We are top in the United Kingdom for life sciences. Now, you will have heard of universities such as Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial. These are world-class universities, but Dundee outstripped them in the latest research excellence exercise. We were rated the best in the UK. We are rated 4th or 5th in the EU, depending on whether you also include research institutions. So the University of Dundee really has something to offer, which is already world-class in its outlook. Next slide, please. So I hope that some of you know where Dundee is, but Dundee is located in the northeast of Scotland. It is an hour's drive from Edinburgh, an hour and a half drive from Glasgow, and it's very close to Aberdeen as well. So if you are intending to travel, then of course you can fly into either Edinburgh or Glasgow, and it's a short trip by train or coach or rail to get to the city of Dundee. Of course, most people would tend to come into London through Heathrow and then take a connecting flight up to Edinburgh, and then they can connect, as I say, by train, coach or rail to the city of Dundee. Next slide, please. Dundee is a close-knit community. You know, we are a population of 140,000 in Dundee. 1 in 7 of the population are students. And because of this close-knit community, you feel a very sense of community spirit. You will not go a day by where perhaps walking on campus, you don't already recognize someone that you already know. So you ain't going to get lost in a city like Dundee. There will always be someone that you can appreciate and realize that you've seen them before. Next slide, please. In addition to being a very small, friendly city, it is a very green city, and it's a stunning natural setting. Just as I say, within a few minutes of driving outside of Dundee or into the countryside, you can access the mountains, the lakes, the glens, beautiful scenery. There are also nice forests and beaches that are very close by if you want to sort of visit those as well. Next slide, please. Now this shows an aerial shot of the campus. The university is a very small campus, but everything is within walking distance. And this is quite important. You're never going to have to take a train, a taxi, or anything like that. Everything is close by on the city campus. So Ayush, if you can just press the forward button. So what I'm highlighting here are the student residences. So these are the residences that are already on site. So if you've elected to come to Dundee, you can be on accommodation, which are sort of located in these buildings here. These are flats which accommodate 4 to 5 students each. Each student will have their own bedroom, their own ensuite, but they share the dining facilities and the kitchen area. And the whole idea behind this is to sort of create a spirit where you meet other people within your own flats, form social friendships that will hopefully last a lifetime. Forward slide, please. Now this part represents the teaching accommodation. So you can see that the teaching accommodation, the lecture theatres, are very close to the actual accommodation. So you can roll out of bed and you can roll into the lecture theatre. You don't need to travel. This is within 2 to 3 minutes walking distance. Forward slide. This is the sports center. So if you're into badminton, squash, gyms, the facilities for all the students are available to you. These facilities are not available to the local community. It is specifically for the students who live on the campus. Forward. So this point here, which is shown here in the yellow, represents the Students' Union. This is one of the largest students' union in the United Kingdom. It is rated #1 in Scotland. It has an extremely active student society. We have roughly about 400 to 500 Indian students who are part of the Indian Society. We have numerous other societies, the Pakistani Society, the Bangladeshi Society, the Sri Lankan Society. And these societies are actively involved in making sure that they connect with the kind of events that you would like to celebrate. So we actively celebrate Diwali, Holi, etc. And this is all done on the campus green. Our white British students, they all get involved in throwing color about in Holi. So it's a very inclusive community that you want to talk about. Forward, please. This here represents the School of Life Sciences. This is where I work. We have roughly about 800 scientists who are working within this building, 61 different nationalities. So it's a very cosmopolitan environment if you're working in the School of Life Sciences. Next, forward, please. This represents the School of Art and Design. Again, a very active and vibrant sort of college. If you want to do art and design, please think about Dundee as a destination. Next, please. So Dundee is rated as one of the safest cities in the United Kingdom. In the 2020 sort of complete university guide, the University of Dundee and the city of Dundee was ranked second as the most safest city in the UK. Now, like every other city in the world, of course, you have to take the appropriate precautions. Make sure that you don't wander into areas of the city which may be less safe, but by and large, the city of Dundee is one of the safest. So parents may naturally have concerns, but of course, we can guarantee that compared to many other cities, Dundee is really a very safe environment for you to come and study. Next, please. I wanted to say something about equality, diversity, and inclusion. The University of Dundee is the only Scottish university which has recently been awarded the Race Equality Charter, and this is something that I have led on. We are very keen to make sure that the university takes its commitment to equality, diversity, and inclusion seriously. The university is committed to sort of act on 81 different actions to ensure that the concerns and the well-being of our minority groups, i.e. students from Africa, China, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, are taken seriously. And of course, by having this charter, it reflects the fact that the University of Dundee wants you to feel most welcome and most inclusive within our university. If there are any issues with respect to racism, harassment, or bullying, the university takes these very seriously, and it will act on those concerns in order to sort of protect your sort of interests. Next slide. Okay, of course, rankings are important. You know, we are 31st in the UK. We are ranked 4th in Scotland. We're one of the world's top 250 universities. All these things are very important. Rankings are important. But other than that, let me say something else. Beyond rankings, we want to make sure that we provide you with the most excellent student experience. It is more important to us that you come to Dundee, you enjoy your education, and that we create well-rounded individuals who learn skills other than just their academic qualifications. We want to make you world-class global citizens. So make sure, if you're wanting to think about us, that you reach out and achieve the kind of things that you want from us by asking for help whenever it is needed. Next slide, please. So our schools, this picture here is actually a picture of the university library, and it is one of the most state-of-the-art libraries facilities that are available on any campus in the UK. It has a number of breakout spaces where you can do individual studies. The university is open for very long hours, so you can sit in there and study at your heart's content. So but in addition to the actual library. We have 10 schools. Next slide, please. As I say, we have the College of Art and Design, which is called DJ CAD. We have School of Business, Dentistry, Education and Social Work, Health Sciences, Life Sciences, Medicine, Dentistry. Of course, each of these runs undergraduate programs as well as taught postgraduate programs. I don't have the time to go through all these individually today, but please go onto our website, look at the different programs that each of these schools has to offer. And, you know, we are excited to actually have a very diverse portfolio of programs that we are able to offer our international students. So if there's something there that you want to look at and you want more information about, then please get back to us and reach out to us. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer over to Ayush, and Ayush is going to tell you a little bit more about destination of Dundee as a study destination. So over to you, Ayush.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you for your lovely presentation and also introduction about Dundee and where we are. So now that you all know about the academic schools and what we offer, what our rankings are, I'll move on to how you can exactly apply to Dundee and what intakes we offer. So we have both January and September intakes, but these are for specific courses. Not all courses have January intake, but definitely all courses have September intake. And once you have applied, or either directly or through an agent, we will be emailing you with all the required information as the month progresses. So as soon as we get your application, we will let you know if it has been accepted or not, which documents you're missing, and what you're required to provide in order to meet your conditions. And based on that, you'll be able to provide us with the supporting documents, and we can proceed further with your offer. We are currently ongoing our September 2022 intake, and the deadline for that is around August, so either the first or second week of August, and they have been revised every year. So this year it's been set for around second week of August, and we are trying to get that done at the moment. So when it comes to application, once you have provided your submit your application, including your degree certificates, your formal transcripts and everything, another important document that you would need to provide is your English language requirement. So speaking of India in particular, we do accept CBSE and CISCE as long as they are within 7 years and they have not exceeded that time frame. But these are again assessed by our admission officers, and based on the assessment and verification, we will let you know if that's accepted or not. But for most people, we do ask for these particular English language tests that you can see on the screen, and IELTS Academic or the UKVI IELTS being the main one that we look for. The score that you can see right now on the screen is the sample score for IELTS, and depending on the course that you've applied for, you can either be asked for the lower threshold, the standard, or the higher. It depends on which level of English your particular course might require, or the grasp of English you might need to have in order to undertake these courses. So based on that, you will get a conditional offer letter, and that will state the kind of scores that you need to meet with regards to the English language requirement. So apart from IELTS, we also accept the ETS TOEFL IBT, the Pearson PTE Academic UKVI, the Trinity ISC, and Language Cert CELT, which is a secure English language test as specified by UKVI. So these are all revised every intake, so these could be different. So we have a particular website that we refer to, which is the one that you can see on the screen. And once you visit that, you'll be able to see the most up-to-date English language requirements that we accept at the moment for the University of Dundee. And in case your course that you've applied only takes in particular English language test and does not accept any high school qualifications, that will be listed. And there are certain courses that only accept English language test. So depending on that, you are required to provide these tests to us during your application. So when you have applied or during the application process, you will be going through that through our web pages. So when you check the particular course web page, you'll be able to see the modules that they offer, the kind of topics that they cover, the kind of opportunities that you will have when you are taking part in this course, whether they have internship opportunities or not, and so on. But along with that, you will also be able to check the tuition fees for the particular course. The tuition fee varies a lot depending on the fee status and also the course and also the duration as well. For undergraduate courses, the duration can vary a lot, and the course also may have different requirements. And based on that, the fees for undergraduate courses are different. So there's no range that I can point out at the moment, but when you check out the course pages, you'll be able to see exactly how much they cost every year. When it comes to postgraduate courses, they are mainly divided into two different types, which is either classroom-based or lab-based. So when it comes to classroom-based courses, these do not include any lab facilities. And these courses at the moment for 22-23 intake are £19,900 per year of study. Most of our postgraduate courses are 1 year, so your total course fees will be £19,900. And when it comes to lab-based courses, the fee structure for 22-23 is £24,100. And these lab-based courses provide you with more opportunities to engage in the labs, to take on more hands-on experience, to visit the labs every now and then, and also to do your research in the lab so that you are able to carry it out more efficiently. So based on that, the fee structure is different. There are certain courses where you are required to pay additional or higher fees, and those will be specified on the web page as well. These are mainly higher because you'll also have the opportunity to shadow your professors, your doctors, and also take more hands-on experience related to your course. And depending on that, you'll be able to check the fees on the course page of a particular course. And you can also see some pictures of our students on the right-hand side. Moving on, so we do offer a lot of scholarship options as well. So we can understand that tuition fees do look high, but in order to support that, we have several scholarships in place. And first and the most important one that you will be eligible for is the regional scholarships. So for most of the courses, as long as their course fees are above a certain limit, which is 19,500, those courses are eligible for our regional scholarships. And we have a South Asia regional scholarship. And this is an automatic £5,000 per year fee discount for undergraduate students. So once you have applied, when we make a decision on your offer, when you make a decision on your application, you will be automatically given this particular scholarship, and this gives you a £5,000 deduction on your course fees per year. So this is automatically given to you when you apply, and you don't have to apply for this. Similarly, for postgraduate students, when the course is only of 1 year, you will get this one-off scholarship of £5,000 when you have applied and when a decision is made on your application. Similarly, you don't have to apply for this, but the scholarship has a few exceptions, and those are mainly for undergraduate medicine, dentistry, the MSc courses such as orthopedic and rehabilitation technology, motion analysis, and so on. And if these courses are not eligible for these scholarships, it will be notified on your offer letter, and we will also be able to let you know why you were not eligible. But apart from this, almost all courses will be guaranteed this particular scholarship of £5,000. The next one that we have is our Global Excellence Scholarship, which is awarded based on the academic excellence. So this is also automatically assessed during your application decision period. So when you have applied and when you have submitted your previous certificates, transcripts, based on your score, you will be assessed whether you are eligible for this particular scholarship or not. The value of this scholarship currently is £6,000. You can only get either or. So if you have already got the Global Excellence Scholarship, which is higher in value, then you will not get the regional scholarship. And you will be told whether you're not eligible for this or not. And if you are, then it will be automatically awarded at the point of application. Now, moving on, if you have applied to courses at the University of Dundee School of Business, then there's a particular scholarship that is in place, and this is an automatic £2,000 scholarship for business students. This is deducted directly from the tuition fees, and this can be combined with the Global Excellence or the regional scholarships that we offer. So if you have applied to a course at the University of Dundee and you have received the regional scholarship, which is of £5,000, you will get an additional £2,000. So your total scholarship will then become £7,000. And that will be deducted automatically from your tuition fees. And this is currently available for September 2022 and 23 entry, and it will be revised to see whether or not this will be in place for the upcoming intakes in the future. Now, we have another scholarship for a particular course and pathways. So those who have applied for MSc Islamic Finance and on their respective pathways, then there is an additional living support scholarship. So the students who have applied for this course are automatically awarded this scholarship, which is towards the living fees and not the tuition fees. So these scholarships is paid 10 times in a monthly in £500 installments. So every month you'll get £500, and that can be used towards your living fees. And this can be combined with the previous scholarships that I talked about as well. Now, how we work is that currently the students are required to submit their application, and decision is made. You will be given an offer based on your application, either conditional or unconditional. If it's conditional, then you'll be required to provide additional documents. And when you have met the conditions, you will be given an unconditional offer letter. And your next step after that will be to make a payment towards your tuition fees. So this tuition fee deposit is currently £2,000 for most courses. If your course requires a higher tuition fee, then it will be listed on your offer letter, and you will have to make the fees accordingly. So once you have made the tuition fee deposit payment, you will then be eligible to move on for the next steps, which is the issuance of CAS. So after making the tuition fee deposit payments, you will not be asked to pay any more payments towards your tuition fees. The rest of the outstanding balance of your tuition fees are paid after matriculation or when you register officially as a student. You will then decide on whether you want to pay the rest of the payment on full or on installments. And based on your choice, you have the option for 7 monthly installment payment as well, which ranges from mid-October to mid-April for September 2022 intake. And then that's how you handle your fees. So when I mentioned that you'll be eligible for CAS after you make the tuition fee deposit payments, it means that by the time you are ready for the issuance of CAS, you will have to have all your conditions met, all the relevant documents updated, the deposit payment must be paid, and your pre-CAS checklist, which is a checklist sent to you to make sure every information that we have about you is correct, that has to be submitted. So once that is done, the admission team will then issue you your CAS. CAS is your letter that is essential for your visa application process. It confirms your admission at the University of Dundee and provides all the relevant information to the visa officer so that it's easy for you to make your visa application in the next for the next steps. So currently, we do not conduct any pre-CAS interviews. So as long as you have been able to meet all your conditions, provide all the documents, then we will automatically move on to the CAS issuance process, and we will not conduct any interviews at the moment. Also, on a different note, the picture that you can see on the right is also near the waterfront in Dundee. It's the VNA Museum. It's a lovely place to just relax outdoors or even indoors. There's a lovely exhibit every now and then, and you'll be able to enjoy that within 10 minutes if you're living around the university campus area. So now, once you have completed your admission process and you have finalized your slot at the University of Dundee, you might be wondering about your living conditions and your accommodation options. So university, as Harry showed in the previous pictures, we have a very centrally located university residences, and these are the pictures that you can see. So every flat that we have here is ensuite, so you'll have your own room, your bathroom. Only the living room and the kitchen will be a shared area, and you'll share that with around 4 to 5 students. So these are residences guaranteed for all students as long as you are able to apply for them by the given deadline. You have to first make an application, and then based on your preferences and your application, you will be made an offer, and you will be able to get a slot secured for the university residences. This is not an option for you if you are deciding to travel with your family. This is only an option if you're coming alone and staying by yourself. So this is, as you might have seen from the previous slides shared by Harry, this is at the very close distance to your lectures. So within 5 minutes, you'll be able to access all the university buildings and lectures, and it's very centrally located. You will not have to take any form of transportation while going around for your lectures or even to access most of the points that you might need in the city. So within 15 minutes, you'll be able to access all major shop or all major points that you might need on a day-to-day life. So the sports facilities, as you might have seen, was very close to the residences as well. It's a self-catering flat, so you'll have to make sure that you do all your cleanings, cooking, and so on, and keep it neat and tidy. That's the only expectations we have from you. But apart from that, this is your own personal space to use as you desire. We have support team that works Monday to Friday and ensures that everything is in order. You'll have them on call, so if anything goes wrong, they'll be there to fix it for you. There is a secure entrance, so you'll have a hub, and you'll only be able to access your particular building with that, so no other where you don't have to worry about any security threats when you live in these buildings. And all the payments that you make towards university residences includes utilities. So you are not expected to pay for any utilities throughout your stay over here. And as a student, you do not have to pay council tax as well. So considering the amount of living cost in the UK, once you have made a one-time payment to the university residences, for your entire duration, you will not be asked for any payments towards your bills. It has Wi-Fi included as well. So this will be accessible to you using your university account login details, and you'll be able to access that in any university building, including your residences if you choose to stay over here. Now, if you don't choose to stay in the university residences, you have options to rent privately as well. And these are also located within a few minutes of the university or in any location that you may desire. This is especially useful for those who are coming to Dundee with their families and are not traveling alone, because this remains your only option, as we do not allow families to stay in our university residences. So it's a, as you could have made out from the presentation previously, that it's a very compact city. So any sort of flats or accommodation that you might find will also be very close by to the university. Within one bus ride or within 20 minutes walk, you'll be able to access your university residences as well. And Scotland is a very tenant-friendly country. So the rules in Scotland are very different to the rules that you might see in other parts of the UK. So there are no fixed contracts. So once you get a flat, you are able to stay there as long as you do not give them a notice. So you're not bound by a contract, and you are secured by the government as well. So the deposit that you paid goes to a particular third party, and you'll easily be able to leave your current flat, give your notice, and get your deposit back securely. So it's a very tenant-friendly country, and you'll be able to make sure that you are able to use your rights as a tenant if required, and you'll be able to voice that out as well. So it's likely that you will have to come to Dundee first, go for viewings, and then ensure that you have a flat. You may not be able to do virtual viewings, but we have a team dedicated at the university who will support you with this as well. So now moving on to other ways to rent privately. So if you do not desire to stay in the university residences, there are private student halls as well. So these are of a similar concept, ensuite rooms with your own bathroom and shared kitchen and living space. So these are by private companies, and they are for students as well. And they would most probably include all the bills and the payment that you make towards these halls as well. And you may have to choose a fixed term contract. So depending on the contract that you desire, how many number of months that you want, you may be able to talk to them. And in this case, university does not support you, but we will be able to provide you with certain links that you might refer to in order to book these halls. And you can see a few examples of the kind of rooms that they provide as well. So when I have to talk in more detail about the rentals outside of the university, so it's usually through a letting agency or a private landlord. You will have to provide deposit, and then you'll be able to move in to the flat and then start paying your monthly fees. You'll have to cover your own bills in this case, so bills will not be covered in your rent. You'll have to secure your own Wi-Fi connection, and you will also be able to know what kind of furnishing it already has. Either they'll be fully furnished, partially, or unfurnished, and depending on that, you might have to make your own adjustments. So in these cases, the most benefit that you can use is that if you're traveling with your friends, then you might decide that you want to live together. So in that case, the costs can be shared, and you can use that as a medium to decrease your monthly cost as well. And we have a support page at the university webpage as well that talks about the best way to rent outside without falling into any trouble or any scams. So we will be able to give you access to those pages as well once you have submitted your application. And as I mentioned before, we have a dedicated team that supports students to rent privately as well. So now moving on to your student life. So when you have joined your course, you might be wondering what sort of opportunities you might have to do outside your course, to take part in internships, to actually get a real life example of the course that you're studying. So what we do offer is, for certain courses, especially from the School of Business and CEP MLP, we have an opportunity for students to take part in the Pagoda projects. So university, along with the Pagoda project team, they organize different internships, either in person or online, for students studying courses from these particular school. So right now for in-person, we offer opportunities in China, Mexico, Vietnam, or Manchester. And for in terms of online, there are various countries in place, and you'll be able to access them once you have joined us for these courses, and the team will be there to support you as well. And you can see one of our pictures of our students in Vietnam taking part in their internships. And this is a wonderful way for students to use their courses and their theoretical knowledge in real life applications. And the responses that we have got from students after taking this course has been amazing. And this has definitely benefited them in their future job opportunities and positions after graduating. So furthermore, about employability and career development. So we are number 1 in Scotland and top 10 in the UK for career prospects. So what I mean by this is that our graduates getting jobs after graduation has been it's been a good response. We know that most of our graduates have gone on to do wonderful positions around the world or in the UK after graduation, and we have been ranked accordingly for that as well. And this has been only possible because of our career services team. So once you have joined as a student, you'll have access to our career services team, and this is an access for lifetime. So you'll be able to talk to them even after you've graduated and seek help for them for future employability options as well. And they will be able to help you with anything to do with job applications. So from assisting you in writing your CV, editing your CV, preparing you for interviews, doing a mock interview with you, suggesting you industries and areas that you can apply in, and also assisting you in potential job opportunities that you might get after you graduate, and so on. So they are a wonderful team who are focused on ensuring they are able to provide the best support to students after graduation as well. So these so the career services team also have a career portal where they advertise, they advertise a lot of opportunities around the UK, and you'll be able to access those once you have joined as a student as well. And they also organize career fairs where different companies talk about their opportunities and talk about their requirements. And based on that, you'll be able to understand and get more information on the kind of preparation you might need to do if you intend to join these companies. Apart from this, the team is also dedicated to ensuring that you know everything you need to do about the different type of requirements in the UK. So the CV structure might be different. So the team has a template in place for you to use before you make your applications. They might also be able to support you with graduate level roles, which you might have to apply for a year in advance so that you're able to start your jobs after graduation. So once you have joined as a student, you'll be able to enjoy this facility. And this is a recommendation that you start early and get in the field and know and do your research before you start your job after graduation. And this is especially relevant to master's students who are only here for 1 year. Now, when I've talked about living in Dundee and also about your courses, one major question that we always get is, what is the living cost in Dundee like? How much you might spend approximately if you do live in Dundee? So Dundee has been ranked as one of the most affordable cities, as Harry also mentioned in the previous slides. And this is how it looks like. So the average rental cost in Dundee is 40% less than Edinburgh and 20% less than the national Scottish average. So it is relatively cheaper than any other city that you might live in. Despite being a major city, Dundee is pretty compact and it's a developing city at the moment. So the prices that you might see are much lower than you might see in other major cities such as London, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Manchester, and so on. So the typical living cost that we have provided here is based on what we see might be a potential cost. Again, this differs based on person to person. So depending on your personal preferences, choice, and the type of your lifestyle, it might be very different, but this is sort of an average cost that we recommend you to think about. So I will not go in much detail about this, but you can see the estimate of cost that we have pointed out. If you do live in the university residences, then the cost is also available on our webpage. So you can see how much it costs to live there, and you can compare and see what works out the best for you. But in total, we recommend the following amount that you can see on your screen. Once again, just to reiterate, this will be different for everyone depending on their personal choices. Now, This is some glimpses from our recent graduation. So due to COVID, we've not had graduation for at least 2 years, but we've been able to call those students back and have graduation in person. So these are some glimpses that you can see. Graduation happens in our city hall, which is right in the center of Dundee. And then the students move on to a garden party in the middle of the campus, which you can see on the bottom right picture as well. So this is what we have to offer, and our students have done wonderfully, and we have a lovely alumni team in place who shares with us the accomplishments of our students, and we have great privilege in saying that we are very proud of what our students have done, and it's always a pleasure to hear back once the students have graduated. So I would like to end with a short video that our marketing team has prepared, and this is about studying and life in Dundee from our South Asian students.
Ayush, I'm not hearing the video.
Oh, is the
It is not audible.
Oh, it's not audible. No worries then. I'll stop the presentation here, but you can access this from our YouTube page as well. So please ensure to check it out, and also to apologies on that. So yeah, you can also contact us at dundee.ac.uk for any more information, and we'll be able to help you out with your application process. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry and Ayush, for taking out your time and giving us this presentation. Now the time for the Q&A session. We'll start the Q&A session, and I will read out the questions from the YouTube chat box. So the first question is, how helpful and accessible are the instructors?
Well, I can read that one. Okay, so each student will be allocated an advisor of studies. That's one thing that's important to understand. And lecturers, I mean, one of the things that we need to make point out is that university teaching is very different to whatever you might be used to in terms of school teaching. The whole concept of university teaching is to sort of develop your self-directed learning processes. And if you have issues, if you approach your lectures, they're always going to be there to actually provide you with feedback and respond to you. If you don't make that initial contact or that initial initiative, then things don't tend to happen. As you know, as university students, we expect you to take the development and initiative to come to us. We will give you an assignment. We will say this is how you should go about doing it, but it's not our role to do it for you. And I think those skills, you need to have a degree of academic understanding about the expectations of the course. But we are there, we're accessible, and we will certainly respond to you and support you in every way we can. Ayush, you want to add anything more to that?
Yes, so apart from that, also the support that you will receive will be from different bodies as well. So if you, let's say you are doing a research and you need more support accessing certain papers, then we have a support team at the library as well who will be able to help you get those accesses and make sure that you have everything that you need in order to complete your particular assignment or task. So apart from your academic staffs, you'll have several bodies there for you to support you in whatever you might need.
Yeah, so the next question is for international students. Is there any help to find job in the UK after graduation or during their studies?
So I can start with that, Harry. So as I just mentioned about our career services team, they are there for our international students as well, and especially there for international students in the sense that different countries have different formats of job applications, different CV formats, and so on. So the team is there in place to help students prepare their CVs as per the UK requirements, to prepare the students for interviews, which might be a different format of over here. So this team is especially there to ensure that students are able to adapt and be ready for the upcoming job opportunities in the UK. So although most courses probably do not have job placements. What we do have is a wonderful team that will support you in the process, and also a portal that will give you access to all the job opportunities available in your field, and also a lot of career fairs that take place and showcase different companies, mostly online or in person, and let you know about the requirements and how you can prepare for them. So we have a wonderful team dedicated to support international students in order to ensure that you have placements after you graduate.
Yeah, and I would add that, job opportunities really depend on the individual applying and how they present themselves. The more confident you are, the more you are able to express your skill set and your character and credentials. That's what's going to get you the job. And I think one of the things that the University of Dundee will certainly do is equip you with those skills. So we have the career service, as Ayush has mentioned, and it's all about presenting yourself not only on paper, but hopefully providing you with the soft skills to actually stand up with confidence and express your ideas and your thoughts and your views. Because employers are looking for people who are critical thinkers and movers. So we want you individuals to become confident in that ability to express yourself and to be able to sell yourself. And at the end of the day, that is what's going to get you a job. So hopefully those skills that we actually equip you with is actually going to make you much more marketable than any other graduate in any other university.
Okay. So the next question is, what kind of scholarship does your university offer?
I think I did cover that quite in detail in the presentation, but just to reiterate in brief, if you're applying from India, then you are eligible for our regional scholarship, which is a £5,000, and that's there for almost all courses except a few. And you'll be able to know that once you check the particular course page out as well. And apart from that, if you're applying to courses in School of Business, then you are eligible for the £2,000 Discover Business at Dundee scholarship, in addition to the regional scholarship. And based on your academic excellence and your previous academic performance, you might be eligible for Global Excellence Scholarship as well. And all these scholarships are assessed by the admissions team once your application is being checked. So these are automatically added to your offer, and you do not have to apply for them. And all the other scholarships are included in our scholarships webpage. So you'll be able to check which other you are eligible for. And these could be through the university or in partnership with the Scottish government and other different bodies as well.
The only two courses that perhaps these scholarships don't apply to are medicine and dentistry.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the next question is, I have 1 year gap after my 12th. Can I apply for graduation in economics?
I assume they mean by undergraduate in economics.
Yeah.
And certainly, so 1 year gap is not too long. And as long as you have used that gap year well, and you can show that in your personal statement and during the application, you will be able to apply for the course. And based on your previous performances, especially your high school performance and your transcripts, we will be able to consider that, and you still will be eligible to apply. But again, it depends on the particular course requirements and whether you have met them or not. Anything you would like to add, Harry, to that?
Oh, no, that's fine. I think,
Yeah.
As long as you can demonstrate what you've done and you've added value to yourself in that 1 year, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
So the next question is, can I enroll for computer science graduation without any work experience?
I assume there are, it's difficult to say without knowing their previous background. So if you are a recent graduate and you've already done an undergrad in computer science, then depending on your knowledge, you might be eligible for postgraduate courses. But if you're applying for an undergraduate computer science course and you've never had any previous experience in computer science, then also certain courses might be eligible, whereas other courses might have particular requirements. So without knowing more background about this individual, it's difficult to determine, but I encourage them to check our webpage out, because they're very detailed and let you know about all the course requirements, all the English language requirements, and so on. And based on that, they can make a decision on whether or not they're eligible for this course.
So the next question is, how is the Masters in Business program in the University of Dundee?
Should I take this, Harry?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So When it comes to School of Business, there are several courses that are available. We have international business, international marketing, finance, accounting, professional accountancy, and a wide range of options for students who intend to study at the School of Business. So depending on what your preference is, we will be able to find a course that is suitable for you, and you'll also be able to check that out on our webpage. When it comes to School of Business, they also have specific group of courses that are eligible for students with non-business background as well. So let's say you've done engineering in your undergraduate and you decide to switch to a business-related course for your master's, then you have the option to do that at the University of Dundee. So let's say certain courses such as international business and management, international business and entrepreneurship, these are suitable for all students from all different backgrounds, and they are catered in a way that everyone is able to grasp the concepts, and they start from the basics up till the advanced level, so that you're able to get the entire knowledge and are also able to dive into business and see how that works for you. So these courses are designed to suit everyone. And if you are a student that has already studied business in the past and you want to go into a more specialized courses, then we have that as well. So professional accountancy, to name a few, finance, and all the other courses are designed for students who have previously done business. So there are a wide range of options. The internship options that School of Business offers through Pagoda projects that I talked about recently are also a wonderful opportunity for students to dive into and use their theoretical knowledge in real life examples. So when I talk about my own example, I also did a course in School of Business and I did an internship through Pagoda. So I was able to work with a architectural firm in the United States, and I was able to use whatever I'd learned in my course in a real life example to help them expand to another city in the United States. So similarly, you'll be able to find suitable opportunities, and you will be able to express your ideas through the School of Business courses as well.
Ayush, would you also like to say, I mean, going back to the question which about the individual who perhaps didn't have sufficient experience in computing science, about entry via our foundation pathways?
Oh, certainly. So if you, based on your previous requirement, if you do not meet certain requirements, then we also have our foundational courses available. So these are usually suggested to you once we receive your application and we see that you're not fit for our main courses, but you can go through our foundational courses from our partner college, which is the ICD, International College Dundee, and you'll be able to first study a year with them and make sure that you have got the requirement, and then move on to our course at the main University of Dundee campus as well. So that's also an option, and you'll be notified about this when you submit your application. The admissions team will refer you to ICD instead and ask you if you're willing to go ahead with that or not.
Okay. So so the next question is, what are the entry requirements?
That does differ a lot depending on course, whether you're coming for undergraduate or postgraduate, and also which course you're applying for. So let's say if you're applying for art and design at the School of DJCAD, you might be required for portfolio, you might be required to showcase your previous work. Similarly, if you're applying for School of Business or any other, let's say, classroom-based courses, then you might just be required to submit your previous transcript, previous degree certificate, English language requirements, personal statement, references, and so on. Again, it differs a lot depending on the course that you're applying for. Certain courses have interviews as well. So even after submitting your application, you'll be required to attend an interview with an academic, and based on your performance over there, your application will be assessed again. So our course pages are the wonderful resources that you can access for this particular query, because they elaborately describe the kind of entry requirements you have for a particular course. Anything you might want to add, Harry, especially for life sciences?
No, that's fine. I think it's like you say, these are very much dependent on the course that you choose. So the course entry requirements will vary depending on the course you decide you want to come to study.
Okay, so the next question is, what are the major highlights of your postgraduate program?
Post highlights, okay. This is a very general question again, and I might be repeating myself, but I think depending on the course that you're going for, the wonderful support that you might receive from your academic staff, the amazing diverse people that you might meet in your classroom. So we have a wide range of international students coming in every year. So apart from Scottish and our UK-based students, you will have opportunity to meet people from everywhere. So I remember that in my class, I had someone from Lesotho or Botswana and so on, which I normally would not be able to meet before. So the connections that I was able to build as a student was amazing. And also the kind of environment that you are in Dundee, which is very diverse. As Harry also stated, that it's a population of 150,000 people, and 1 out of every 7 are students. So just imagine the kind of atmosphere you might be in, which is very different from something that you might not be able to find in a major city like London or Manchester and so on. So apart from education, the city itself gives students a lot. The kind of mental awareness that you might have, the kind of mental health importance that we give as a university and also as a city is amazing. As in 10 minutes, I can reach the riverside, can enjoy a peaceful walk and prepare myself for my next task and so on. So the university, along with the city, has a lot to offer, along with our academic and other potentials.
I think the other thing to say here is that each postgraduate course, on top of sort of making sure that they deliver on the academic content, there's also a lot of added value in the sense that there are skills that you will pick up that you perhaps didn't even think that you were picking up. That's like the ability to sort of become effective communicators, become more confident individuals, more outgoing individuals. These are the kind of skills that perhaps are sometimes not so well sort of understood as part of a package that we try and provide. So it's not just about giving you a degree qualification at the end of a master's or a bachelor's. We want to make sure that you can go out and you can sort of apply those skills no matter what walk of life you might want to end up in. So, you know, the question was more focused on a postgraduate study. I would say that one of the biggest things that we try and do is to make you global citizens.
Okay, so the next question is, how do you select applicants? What aspects do you look for in an application?
So I think mainly what you've done before. So applicant can vary. So you might have, we might get someone who's recently graduated from high school. We might have someone who's recently completed the undergrad or are still doing their undergraduate and will complete in coming few months. So based on that, we ask you to provide certain requirements that are based on the course. So as long as you've been able to provide that and support that using your personal statement and your references, we will be able to consider that for most courses, but some courses have specific demands, and based on that, you will initially receive a conditional offer with stated conditions to provide portfolio or additional references, work or academic references, and so on. So mainly we look for individuals who are able to portray themselves in the best way possible and show their academic excellence in the past. And also, you might be required to send in your CV. So we might want to see what you've done before and what makes you eligible for this particular course.
Okay, so the next question is, I completed my 12th in 2019 and have 2 years of accounts experience. Can I apply for graduation?
I would say yes. It looks like you've utilized your 2 years very wisely and you've got experience as well from the question that I can hear right now. So as long as you can demonstrate that in your application and let us know that you did not waste your 2 years and you utilized it in the best way, we will be able to consider that. And you will be required to provide your high school 12th certificates, and based on your performance over there and also your 2 years of experience, we'll be able to make an informed decision on your application once we receive it.
And I would also add that I think, you know, as an institution, we're very much mindful of the fact that over the past 2 years, especially during the global pandemic, you know, students have had to adapt to do other things other than sort of just focus on study. So we are very sympathetic to students who have done other things. But as Ayush says, it's also quite important to try and see that, you know, you can at least demonstrate that you have been doing things that are still in some way connected and linked to the kind of career path that you want to choose. So we're sympathetic, and we will certainly take the, you know, that sort of additional 2 years that you might have done, whatever, in terms of being sympathetic in our approach to making offers.
Yeah, so the next question is, what is the scope of part-time opportunities in Dundee?
This is a major question that we get as well, and I'm surprised we didn't cover it in the presentation. But so after the pandemic, things have already started opening up in Dundee, and right now we're back to normal. So right now, I would say that there are sufficient part-time opportunities either in the university or in the city. So often, once you join us as a student, you will be told about opportunities available in the university. So if you chose to apply, then there are certain roles that you can do, such as being a student ambassador, and these are paid roles. So these are not particularly fixed number of hours every week, but these are on the basis of the need. So let's say we have certain tasks that need to be done in a particular week. That's for 10 hours. You'll get those many hours of pay for that week. And just to remind everyone that under your student visa, you're only allowed to work 20 hours. So in most cases, you may not be able to cover the full 20 hours. You will be able to find jobs that are casual hours. So depending on the need, you'll be called upon to work, and it might range from anywhere between 10 to 20 hours. There are a lot of retail shops, cafes, restaurants, bars that our students work in, and these are suitable for students, and especially Dundee, because most of the population is students. There are roles available keeping that in mind. So a lot of cafes that run in the city center run because of students. So they want students to be employed over there as well. And there are already students working there, so you'll be able to get into that network and inquire about the opportunities. We also have a web page that talks about how you can apply for part-time jobs and where you can look for them. So as long as you've done your research and you know what's available, you will be able to find one. But the main information that you can take from this is not to depend on part-time job when you come to the UK, because you are here to do, as a student, you're only allowed to work 20 hours, and that is not sufficient to cover your living cost or any cost in particular. It's just an additional support that you might receive to support yourself for few things or few bills, but please do not come here depending on that. And besides, UKVI has strict requirements about the financials that you need to show before you can even apply for the visa. So you are required to ensure that you have enough finances to cover your stay while you are here in the UK. But yeah, having said that, there are opportunities available, and we will be able to help you with that as well in terms of providing you with resources or with jobs within the university.
Okay, so the last question is, what happens if I want to change my major in middle of a semester?
Oh, would you like to take on that, Harry?
Yeah, so that depends very much. So in certain undergraduate, this is specifically for undergraduate degree programs, there is considerable flexibility because our undergraduate programs are usually 4 years long. The first 2 years are what we consider core programs, and this allows considerable flexibility in allowing students to change the direction of their degree path. So certainly, before you commit yourself in year 3 of an undergraduate degree program, you can certainly have the significant flexibility of having been in Dundee for 2 years to say, well, I don't think that's what I want to do. I want to go this way. There is options to do that. The flexibility for postgraduate degrees, I'm afraid, is less, because they are, you've signed up to a particular 1-year program. So there's not that much flexibility within a year. It might be possible within the first week or two, but beyond that, it becomes much, much more difficult because you've already lost study time if you want to change to a different degree path or to a different degree option. So it's more flexible for our undergraduate degree programs, less for our master's programs, which are only 1 year long.
But one thing I would like to add is that during your application process, you will have sufficient opportunities to find out about your course, to talk to your academics, and to know in detail about how the course runs, what it offers, the kind of opportunities you might get. And based on that, you'll be able to change your course during that process, and we'll be able to help you with that. And also, there are certain cases where you can change a particular pathway in a course once you've joined. So let's say in School of Business, if you joined for international business and entrepreneurship, and you decide that management is better for me. So within the first 2 weeks of joining, you'll be able to change that to management. So there are certain flexibilities we allow, as Harry mentioned, but again, it's difficult also because you have your student visa, and it's not easy for you to change the course that easily when you are restricted by the UKVI laws as well.
Thank you, Harry and Ayush, for answering all the questions and answers. So do you want to share any final words?
I should leave it to you.
Yeah, definitely. So as I previously showed, that we have a generic email address that we can provide you at this moment, which is contact@dundee.ac.uk. Very simple to remember as well. And you can drop any queries that you might have to do with your application process. Even if you haven't decided to apply to Dundee and you just want to know about it, that's okay. Our team is in place at handling this inbox, and they'll be able to provide you with sufficient resources to help you understand Dundee and the courses that we offer, and also on how to navigate the pages. So the team is there, and you'll have support from the moment you send in your applications until you graduate, or even after you graduate from the university. So our team is in place to ensure that you have support in every stage, especially after you arrive in Dundee, and also when you are an offer holder and deciding whether you are here or not. So currently Harry is in Mumbai, also meeting different offer holders. So we often do these visits and there to support you with your decision about the same. So we look forward to your applications, and we hope that we'll be able to provide you with wonderful opportunity in Dundee in the future.
Thank you for your valuable time, everyone. To all the audience, if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact SIUK India office. Bye-bye. Take care.